Here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fresh account you will create here.
Yeah.
Next.
Oh, this is the snake. Okay, sorry.
Write it down somewhere that you are using this account. Okay. And the password.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. Now confirm Microsoft account. Okay. I'm requesting the control. Just approve that so that I'll paste the promo code here.
Yeah, sure. It's not getting pasted. Maybe you can paste it on Notepad or something.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Just open Notepad.
It's not copied.
Okay, wait. I'll put it in the chat box directly.
Okay, fine.
Copy it from there and paste it. So you know the further process, right, Sriyati?
Yeah, we have to sign up, right?
Yeah, just some details it will ask. And once you say sign up, the last step will be feedback. Once you do that, you will be taken to the portal. And on portal, what to check, you know, right?
Yeah, we have to create a new service.
When you say create new web app, in the subscription drop down, you should see Azure uh, pass sponsorship something.
Okay.
Right. So once it is done, just tell me, I'll get it verified. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So the second mail was from Shreya.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, Shreya.
Yes,
Share
sir.
yours.
So actually, I have that problem with sharing my screen because I'm not using, I'm not joined this meeting on my office laptop.
See, that is not a problem. What you can do is on the current machine, is it a machine or a phone you are using?
I've joined this on my phone.
Okay, so within phone, you open the browser and go to
Okay.
microsoft.azure.com. You can do
Yes,
the
sir.
screen sharing from phone also.
Yes, sir. Just a minute.
If once it is activated, you can use it on laptop as well, right?
Okay. So where do I need to go?
Microsoft Azure Pass.com.
Yes, sir. I'll just share my screen.
Yes. So did you create a fresh account or it was an existing one?
I created a fresh account. So actually, what happened was that I had entered the some promo code, and then I had also filled the form. But then my laptop got stuck, so I had to restart it. Then after that when I entered the promo code again, then I got that
Mhm.
message that subscription
Okay,
has
so we'll
expired.
check if it is already activated for you. Otherwise, I'll
Yes,
get it done for you.
yes,
So
sir.
have you shared the screen?
Yes, sir. Just a minute.
We'll first go to portal and then check if it is activated. It's well and good.
Yes, sir. Is
Uh,
my screen visible?
yes, it is. See, what you can do is go to the chat box, and I shared a link before the break. That long link
Yes,
is
sir.
there, account.microsoft.com services, right? Copy and
Mm-hmm.
paste that link here in a separate tab.
So which one? This one?
Yeah, today 11:32 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Just open another tab
Hmm.
and put it.
Yes, sir.
No, no, this is not the one.
Oh,
Let me. You can
so
click
it's
on that link.
so,
11:32 a.m. link.
so can I do this on another laptop? It's difficult to do this on the phone.
Just tap it. It will open.
Okay. So which one?
Go back to the chat.
Hmm.
This account.microsoft.com thing.
Hmm.
Chrome.
Yes, sir.
Meanwhile, you can open one more tab
Hmm.
and type portal.azure.com. Just see the other link has opened in the other tab.
So which one?
That Microsoft account one.
So we were
Third
asking
one.
about.
Third one. Third.
Okay.
This you can close actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that blank one.
Hmm.
I guess your internet is also a little slow.
Yes, I guess that too.
Log in here as well.
Hmm.
Okay, meanwhile, the third email was from Vedanta. Anyone else who is pending?
So I'll just stop sharing my screen and enter the password, and then I'll share it again.
Sir, my account is approved actually. I'm able to see the pass.
with this new one also.
Yeah.
Can you share your screen?
No,
This time you didn't get any error message, right?
no.
Yeah.
I said it is approved actually. So
Okay,
I
okay.
only wanted to confirm, right?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
So yeah, it's showing here.
Yeah, correct. So yours is fixed.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Vedanta, you also had the similar issue, right?
Yes, sir, I followed the steps you gave, Hari, and I have created a new account. I'm on the page. If you'd like, I'll share the screen.
Yeah, please share. Shreya, once I'm done with Vedant, maybe then you can share your screen. Okay?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Yeah. Just keep the things ready, Shreya.
So,
This is a fresh account, right, Vedanta?
yes, sir.
Okay, so let me share the code with you. Just check your chat box. There is a new code, the one with 1215. Copy that. Okay.
So I have to follow the same steps and verify.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Shreya.
Yes, I'll share my screen. So, is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
So, yes, sir. What do I do? What do I need to do next?
Okay, can you click on create resource once?
Hmm.
Web app,
So, what?
web app. Third option on right.
Huh.
Yours is already activated, Shreya.
Okay.
So nothing
So,
need to be done.
okay, but sir, I haven't filled any form which others were filling.
It might have already taken the profile, probably you used some old account here.
Okay.
If new account is there, the profile needs to be created, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so it's good that
Oh,
it is activated already. No worries.
okay. Thank you, sir.
So I hope now everyone is having the active subscription. Anyone? Anyone here who has been facing the issue still? So Vedanta, your thing only is pending, right? So you can share your screen. Let me see whether the steps are going correctly or not.
Just a minute. All these are optional, right? So the option ones I'll skip.
1 minute. Yeah, the optional thing you can just leave blank.
Sir, is this supposed to take this long?
It takes time. Almost done now. Why it takes time is because it sets up the complex things for you, the whole subscription, right? Click create resource. Web app.
Yeah.
Done.
It's answer.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else who is still facing the issue? I hope it's all set for all. Okay. So let me share my screen now. Okay, one question over here. Do you really find it difficult to register for the account and getting a subscription? It's a straightforward process to me. What about you?
It was only click and view, sir. Pretty straightforward.
Right? And mostly it was self-explanatory, right?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes.
this is a sponsored subscription, right? If you are looking for a commercial subscription which you want to purchase, do you think that would be difficult or time consuming just because I'm going ahead with a purchase? Not really. The reason is process is still the same. It is the subscription only that you are going to go ahead. Instead of claiming some promo code or something, you would be providing your credit card details in order to activate the subscription. Yes? So 90% things are going to be same. It doesn't take much time to set up one. It's just that we were doing it for the first time and some of us faced the issue. It took a little bit of extra time, close to 1.5 hours. But again, there are a number of people here, right? So if it is just one person doing it, hardly 3 to 4 minutes, max 5 minutes were required. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so that is an important part of Azure training, especially if you have not worked on Azure. How to set up the subscription, what all options to select, right? If you are going for a commercial subscription, you won't be going to Azure Pass. Azure Pass allows you to activate a sponsored subscription only. If you are going for commercial subscription, you have to directly go to portal.azure.com and there you have the option for subscriptions, add new subscription, and then follow the on-screen instructions where it will ask you basic profile details along with your credit card number where the billing can happen. And once it is activated, the portal will allow you to create and deploy the resources. Understood? This subscription has given you $100 of credit already into your account, subscription account. Now, this subscription is going to remain active for next 30 days, starting from today. There could be some issue like maybe I end up using all $100 in next 3 days only. Point is, if the complete credit is utilized first, your subscription will stop working. Or credit is there, balance is there, but still 30 days has been passed, the subscription will automatically stop working. Whichever is earlier, I mean. 100 $1 credit used up or 30 days completed, whichever is earlier, your subscription stops. And on one account, only one Azure Pass can be claimed. Do you get it? Okay, so now here we have the agenda for the actual session today. Starts with introduction to cloud computing, then over to Microsoft Azure platform. Setting up Microsoft Azure passes, we already did that in the first part. So far we are doing this only. And then the technical part where we are going to see how to create and deploy the app service on which actually I'm looking to host web apps. Then we'll talk about the Azure functions, what they are, where they are used, what we can do with them, how do we use them, what all options are there to create them. Now I planned for this blob storage thing also, the storage services basically, but this we would need to be pushed for the next session on Monday. Okay, so no worries, that's not a big deal. Let's start with the first part, introduction to cloud computing. There are a few things that we need to understand before we actually talk about cloud computing. Before cloud computing, what was there? Organizations used to have their own servers. Am I right?
Yes.
Can I put it this way? Organizations own servers. This is something which used to be called as on-premises infrastructure. Okay. Why on-premises? Because if I'm the owner of the server, I'll keep it in my premises only, right? Office premises somewhere. We used to have server rooms. What is the challenge that we used to face with this on-premises infrastructure?
If that infrastructure actually defected, then there would be no backup and the service would break down.
Correct. So probably you need to spend more on the availability services, right?
Yes, and the second thing is the users far away would face a lot of latency in accessing the servers services.
Right. So let's put these points first. Spend more on maintenance. Then you talk about network latency. Then
It would
I
be
need
like
to spend on civil infra. I need to have a server room, right? I'll not be keeping my servers on road. Yes. Whether I purchase that civil property or I take it on rent, the office pays, I have to spend on it. Yes or no? Office premises I'm talking about. You need that. If your servers are heavy duty servers, more and more civil infra will be required. Then you need to have hardware and network engineers. Am I right? Needed for maintenance. Yes or no? So there is a cost. Then scalability always was a challenge over here. Upscaling takes a lot of time. Downscaling was not possible at all. Upscaling means you have a server with some amount of resources. Your requirement for the server has grown. You want more resources to be added, CPUs, RAMs, storage devices and all. You need to upgrade. Up to what extent you can upgrade? Is it unlimited or there is a limit to it?
Physical space limits are in this case.
Even technically you cannot upgrade any computer system beyond a certain point. Am I right? If I'm already using a top level processor and tomorrow my need changes where processor family itself needs to be changed, I cannot upgrade to a new processor, right? Suppose my server supports 50 processors. Suppose I have already put 50 processors into that machine and my need increases further. I do have a limit there. Same goes with RAM also. There is a limit up to which I can add RAM. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
And whenever I do this hardware upgradation, always I'm going to have the servers restarted. Am I right? I cannot play with hardware without restarting. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So we had scalability challenges. It's not like that keep another server connected to the network and then your application just pans over it, runs on two different machines at the same time. Same instance, I'm saying, not two different instances. Many people come up with the idea like, okay, I'll deploy it to two machines. My application will be up and running on both. I'll configure a load balancer. That can be a solution, but see, if your application process itself is big, which requires lots of resources on single logical unit, how will you form that logical unit? Challenge or not?
Yes, sir.
I hope everyone understood my point here. 5 points I put. There are many points actually. These are the 5 most important points that you need to remember. Continuously, I need to keep on upgrading them as well. Because usually the computer hardware goes outdated every 3 to 5 years. You might have got new laptops from your company. 3 or 5 years down the line, they will be changed. Because these laptops configuration probably will not suit the requirement which will be there 3-5 years down the line. Agreed? So that makes a spend on maintenance again. And once I've purchased some hardware, put it into my servers, can I just say that, okay, now I don't have that much of requirement. I just pull out the new hardware and I return it to the person from where I have purchased it. Is it possible? Will that shopkeeper take it back? In case of electronics, no returns are there. If return has to be there, it has to be there in first 5 to 7 days only. Maybe if some incompatible hardware has come, you can send it back to them and they will give you the replacement. Am I right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So once purchased, it's there with you. Whether you are using it or not, you have to bear the cost of its depreciation, which increases maintenance cost further. Whether it is being used or not, you have to keep it in always working condition because it cannot be returned. If you don't put it into the machine, it will be wasting. Better is you keep it in machine, and whenever the requirement goes up again, just utilize it. But many times you will find many of the new resources are just lying idle. They are underused. So don't you think I'm going to have a loss making decision over here? Yes or no?
So it depends on the scale of the operation. If the
Yeah,
scale is
so
sufficiently large,
I'm not talking about the individual laptops or desktops. I'm talking about servers.
quite possibly in that case, we will be making a loss.
In your personalized laptops or desktops also you have a loss, but the amount is small, so we don't care. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
When it comes to the servers for some businesses, organizations, those servers need to be maintained whether someone wants it or not. Correct?
Yes, sir.
These were basically the challenges. So what could be the solution here? What can be done? Are you aware of the concept of virtualization? Which allows us to create something called as virtual resources. Particularly here, I am more interested in virtual machines. Are you aware of it? Have you used any virtual machine till now?
Yes, sir.
So can you tell me what exactly those are?
Ubuntu.
OS can be anything actually. Ubuntu you can install on your physical machine as well.
Basically, single hardware is shared by multiple softwares, multiple operating systems.
Yeah, so the tools like Hyper-V or probably VirtualBox from Oracle, VMware from VMware. These are the softwares that you install which allow you to create a virtualized machine, and that can run parallelly along with your main operating system on the machine. So all different virtual machines and the physical machine will be utilizing the same hardware set. This could have been done with dual boot also or multi-boot system also, but problem is at any point in time only one operating system would have been working for you. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
With virtual machines, without restarting anything, I can have 3-4 machines running on my single hardware at the same time. The networking also between those virtual machines can be established with virtual network. I won't require any switches and hubs and all that. Yes? All virtual appliances will be there. Software based appliances will be there. So that brings down my cost, right? These virtual machines can all be independent servers playing independent roles. Understood? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Now, how this works? Let me go to Task Manager first. Performance tab. I have 8 logical processor cores. I have 16 GB of RAM. Let's say 4 GB of RAM is required by each of the machine, including my base machine. So I can have 3 more virtual machines created, and within their host software I can configure whether all processors logical cores are supposed to be provided to VM, or you are configuring the VM to run on one specific logical processor core. You can do that. So effectively, I can use 2 cores each with 4 GB of RAM each for each of the virtual machines. With this configuration, I can smoothly run 4 machines together. One, the actual physical, the other 3 as virtual machines. If my RAM increases further, let's say to 32 GB, I can have 8 total machines with 1 physical and 7 virtual machines running. I'll not go beyond that because the processor core availability will become a challenge. Maybe 2 or more machines would be competing for the processor resources on one logical core only. And overall performance in that case will go down. So I need more processor cores, I need more RAM in case if I want to run multiple number of virtual machines on my base. Understand? Instead of installing each and every software on my base machine, what I can do is, especially the server uh, softwares like SQL Server or like web server or file server, these all I'll install in VMs and will interconnect these VMs with each other along with the base machine so that any resource is available anywhere across this virtual network. Make sense? Make sense or not?
Yes, sir.
Seems interesting, right? So virtual machines were introduced somewhere in 2004, 5, around that time. 2006, it got very popular. But then these virtual machines were ultimately like physical machines only. They had one operating system within which you apply the software. I mean, install the software and you use it. Scalability was a challenge here as well. Maybe it saved on cost of the actual physical machines that I need to purchase to set up a server. I purchase one high configuration server and on that I create multiple virtual machines to serve various needs. I can do that. So that way here my cost gets saved, but I still have the challenge of network latency. Civil infra may be required little less because only one server can do multiple things for me. Hardware network engineers I cannot avoid. Scalability is still a challenge. One virtual machine can be reconfigured to use more processor cores and more RAM. But there is a limit to that also. If the physical machine itself is exhausted in terms of resources, would the virtual machine be able to request further? Yes or no? Answer is very simple, it's no. If physical machine, the host itself doesn't have resources, how it will allot? Make sense or not?
Sir.
So people were looking for better solution on this, maybe utilizing virtualization, but something beyond what virtual machines were capable of. This is where came in cloud computing. What cloud computing actually is, it is an OS extension for data centers, big servers, data centers it is. Okay, how it works? Basically, suppose here I have one machine which has got 4 core processor. Now whether it is physically 4 core or logically 4 cores, I'm not getting into that right now. I have another machine which has got 6 cores. I have another machine with 4 cores again, and then I have one more machine which has got 8 cores and so on. These are all interconnected physically via the network. Okay, I'm talking about physical machines here. I want one software which says I just want to be hosted, but my requirement is huge. I need around 128 GB of RAM. I need at least 16 processor cores to work with. I don't think this, or this, any one of these four can fulfill this requirement individually. Yes or no? Maybe RAM can be fulfilled, but when it comes to processor core, max number of processor cores that I have is 8 here. And I'm looking for 16 cores. Don't you think if I combine this machine, this is machine 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I combine machine 1 plus machine 3 plus machine 4, that will give me the processor count of 8 processors. If I further add this one, there will be 6 more processors added, which takes the count to 12 cores, quite near to what I was looking for. And then I decide that okay, 4 cores are still required. I add one more machine, maybe with minimum 4 cores, or there is no limit on maximum as such. So out of this, these 4 cores I can hope. Let's say this is 5th, so I will say plus 5. In that case, this becomes 16 core. Similarly, the RAM can be aggregated from different physical resources. Question over here is, how do I distribute my task on a completely different physical machine? Do you think it will be easy if you are supposed to develop the solution? Tell me quickly. Most of you have 2 laptops. I want one software which runs one instance only, but that spans across the 2 laptops. Can I do that? So whatever resources are there on laptop 1 and whatever are there on laptop 2, all should be aggregated. And on this aggregated resources, I would like to launch my application. Logically, I want to make them behave like they are one machine only. Do you think this will be easy? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
It will be easy. How will you do it? I have 10,000 lines of code. I want that load to be distributed evenly across 16 processor cores, where 16 processor cores are not available in one single machine. They are the contributed cores like this. 4 plus 3, 7 plus 2, 9 plus 1, 10, and then here I have, right? Sorry, 8 plus 4, 12 plus 4, 16. How do I go for this?
Sir, I'm not sure, but maybe we can try using OpenMP and a shared memory space.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only thing, sir, I can
Okay,
think of.
almost there, Siddhant. Can you tell me how old this technology? The shared memory and all that. What do you think? How old is it?
Sir, I'm not sure actually.
You
But
can Google and tell me, no problem. Not very old actually. This has come in after the virtual machines only.
Yes, sir. So I was actually surprised to see that most of the articles were so new. So yeah.
Yeah, so now you understand why they are new.
Yes, sir. Now I do.
Okay, now the thing is, if you see the description on Google, what it says is you can store and retrieve variables into it. Data storage is possible, temporary data storage that we usually put in memory. What about the CPUs? OpenMP, shared memory, this is all only the memory architecture, where the memory from multiple hardware machines can be aggregated and used. What about the actual code processing? I want on the same ground, I want the CPUs also to be shared, CPU cores also to be shared. Understand? This is where I require my operating system to have some extension, so that the moment I join a machine to an existing network on which that extension is running, I get that extension installed on the new server also, and I just connect it to the network. Automatically, one of the machine which is configured as the master server or main server just spans entire software running on it to other machines as well. Let's say this was the machine to start with, then we joined this, so the resources will be combined, and that way I can say I would have a machine, hybrid machine, which has got 12 logical processor cores. This machine suppose had 32 GB of RAM, this machine had 16 GB of RAM, so with total of 48 GB of RAM. Then further added this, my processor, logical processor count goes up to 18, and let's say this also comes up with 16 GB RAM. So that makes my RAM availability to 64 GB and so on. On these machines, I don't install anything other than the operating system, base operating system, and the extension we are talking about. All the softwares that are required to be used will be available here. But while running them, it will allow me to span over all the machines which are connected if required. Don't you think that can provide me a very, very powerful network? Many times at our home also we have some old mobile phones, some old PCs or laptops. They just keep on lying idle, and most likely then they go to the junkyard. Right? Can we utilize those things to set up a heavy duty powerful server? Yes, we can. It can be a mobile device also. It can be anything which has got CPU, RAM, and storage. Understand? This is the extension which actually was named as cloud computing in general. What cloud does is it doesn't talk to the physical hardware directly. It just asks each of the machine on that cloud infrastructure about the resource availability. Suppose out of 8, here this machine is reporting I have 5 cores and I have 28 GB of RAM free. I'm not using this much. Out of 8 cores, 3 cores are used, and out of 32 GB RAM, 4 GB RAM is continuously in use. 28 GB I am committing. This guy says take my all 4 cores, and maybe out of that 16 GB memory I have 12 GB memory contributed from here. This guy can say I'll give you 5 cores with, let's say, 16 GB of RAM, and then this guy says I'll give you just 2 cores with 4 GB of RAM, and here I can say it provides me 3 cores with, let's say, 8 GB of RAM. So for cloud, what would happen is it assumes that this all available set of resources are actually the part of one single machine. And then it makes a resource pool out of it. So aggregated number of cores, how many are there? 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 5, 10, plus 4, 14, plus 5. 19 processor cores I have in my pool. What is the amount of RAM I have? 8 plus 4, 12, plus 16, 28, plus 12, 40, plus 28, 68 GB of RAM is available. If I say this is available as one unit, you tell me how much you want. Your application says, okay, I need 4 cores with 8 GB of RAM. It will be allotted to it, and this will be updated to the current state. 15 cores will be available, and out of 68 GB RAM, I'll have 60 GB RAM. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That's what actually cloud computing is. Based completely on virtualization, but not limited to just one virtual machine at a time. It is actually a much, much bigger implementation of virtualization. You can see what we just discussed is possible only with virtualization, right? Physical hardware, it's actually installed in 5 different physical machines. So how will we be able to aggregate them? For this aggregation, we require the virtualization, so that the main controller application can view it as if this is just one machine. Understand? And let the user select what amount of resources they want. Do you get it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sounds interesting?
Yes, it does.
Now, let's talk about the terminology used over here. First, we need to understand how many types of cloud are there. What do you know about this?
Private, public, hybrid, and community.
Correct. One is public. Community is more of a public only. Just that there is no one single vendor handling it, right?
Yes, sir. Distributed among multiple
So
vendors.
I will not put it as two different entries. Community is public only. Second is private cloud. And third is hybrid. What is public cloud? Here I have a cloud. There are
Built by
resources into it. Resource 1, resource 2, resource 3, resource 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. Okay? Dot 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 means there may be many. All virtually connected to each other. All same type of resources will be merged, and it creates a resource pool. So suppose this is representing 16 cores, and this one is representing 32 GB RAM. Okay. If any time, whether it is my virtual machine that is required to be created, or I want to deploy an application on a pre-created virtual machine, ultimately I need to specify the amount of resources it requires. I submit that. I provide that to system, but then it should be made available as a single unit. Behind scenes, it may be taken from different number of machines. Maybe behind 32 GB RAM, there could be 32 machines where 1 GB RAM available. My data is automatically going to be managed by the controller. That controller is what we call as cloud extension. Understood? Your code which is running, your controller, that is the cloud, will decide where the code can be broken down, and accordingly it just distribute all the portions of that code to different available processor cores on different machines also, and gets the result as soon as possible for you. Understand? Completely shared. Anyone from internet can use these resources. No restriction is there. Anyone can subscribe and use. We activated some subscriptions, so we just need active subscription to work with it. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
The Azure cloud implementation that we are going to use is under this category only. But then there are private clouds also. Many organizations like banks, or if you talk about defense related things or defense research related things, they never get comfortable putting their data on a third party server. But they still want to use the cloud computing platform to take advantage of cloud entirely. That's where private cloud comes in. Means instead of going for Azure or Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud, I say that okay, I am having data centers of my own. I want those data centers to behave like cloud for me, which I can use for my internal applications, which I can use for the applications created for my partners. Yes? That is private cloud. Used within a closed group of users. Like where applications, database, any other resource will not be accessible over the internet. It will be working into intranet deployment model, and the users on that intranet only will be able to use it. But at the same time, it provides the scalability. So this is actually a modified on-premises approach. On-premises setup enhanced with the cloud extension installed. So that tomorrow if the requirement grows, you just purchase one new server hardware and with basic configuration join it into the network. Your cloud is automatically to span over it. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
What is hybrid? It's combination of public plus private. Can you think of a solution for this where this hybrid cloud is required?
A full stack application, sir, where the data needs to be private and the front
Yeah,
end
so
needs to be public.
almost there. The thing is, I can put everything on cloud, but if I am worried about the confidentiality of my data and files, which I would like to keep in on-premises network, and only the application hosting I am okay with going for the cloud. Okay, in such cases, I will be looking for hybrid cloud. Understood? So Microsoft public cloud is called as Microsoft
Azure.
Azure. What is Microsoft's private cloud version called? Microsoft Azure Stack. This is for on-premises cloud computing. And hybrid, I need not mention this because any cloud service, if it is available in public and private arena, both, hybrid is directly available. So whatever the hybrid installation or deployment you are looking for, The public part will go to public Azure, private part will go to the private Microsoft Azure stack that has been configured. Understood? So, what all models Microsoft Azure support? Can I say all three?
Yes, sir.
Any cloud computing environment or platform which supports public and private cloud both is by default going to give the support for hybrid computing as well. Understood? So depending on the kind of application, the requirement of the application, I'll decide the deployment, how it is going ahead. Point is, if the vendor is same, like in our case, Microsoft, I can always have hybrid cloud also created. Yes or no? Then overall cloud computing is built on three pillars. IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. Are you aware of these terms?
Yes, sir.
So can you tell me what is IaaS?
Infrastructure as a service.
And what do you mean by that?
Basically, building up of an entire infrastructure on the cloud and providing it as a service.
So cloud is necessary here?
No, it's not per se necessary. Just it's a figure of speech saying that it's the infrastructure is in the internet and it can be accessible via the internet.
So you mean this will be available only for the public cloud, is it?
Not only for the public cloud. If if the person subscribing to if any person is subscribing to the private cloud which provides IaaS, then it will be available for private cloud as well.
That's right, but not the actual answer. Infrastructure over here, the term infrastructure is looking for IT infra. What IT infra is? Physical hardware, motherboard, processor, RAM, storage, hard disk or SSD, networking equipments, which includes your LAN card, then cables, then switches, hubs, routers, everything. This service is as good as taking the machine on rent from some provider. Understood?
Yes, sir.
What is the advantage of this? Suppose I have my application which needs to go to the cloud as I'm looking for a highly scalable environment and highly available environment, and my clients are placed across the globe. Naturally, I need to keep my application on internet, right? But with scalability and all. I don't want to set up my servers and data centers and all. See how many businesses in last 10 years have started. One small room, someone started from garage, right? Now, if I'm looking to build an e-commerce company for which I have created a website already, a database already, what do you think? Should I be setting up my own server? Cost wise, I won't be comfortable with that. Own infrastructure means what? I need to have an office. I need to have servers. I need to have an isolated place for servers. Servers usually heat up a lot, so I need 100% air conditioned environment for servers. I need the staff to maintain those servers and network and all appliances, right? And then the actual staff who would be working on the application. Yes or no? If I'm going with on-premises thing. Now my deployment is so complex and so customized that probably I will not find like for like match on the cloud services. Some software, some outdated software I'm using. Cloud may not provide that. So the strategy for migration would be lift your application as it is from on-premises and shift it to the cloud. The easiest way to do this is using infrastructure as a service, where we always talk about VMs, VNets, that is virtual networks, etc. All virtual stuff. Understood? I don't expect the virtual machine to provide me the operating system also. I just demand that, okay, I need 16 GB of RAM with 8 core processor for my application with 1 terabyte of storage. I just say that. I get that allotted to me from the resource pool of cloud, whichever cloud service provider I'm working with, and then it's my duty to set up that machine as a virtual machine, because I'm not going to get that as physically delivered hardware for me. Correct? I will be supplied with logical resources. Now I have the task of creating the VM properly with operating system installed into it, other softwares required installed into it, and the configuration that is needed. The license of operating system or any application or software that I install inside OS, that license cost I have to pay. I have to maintain my virtual machine also. If anything goes wrong, because of which virtual machine stops, and that wrong thing happened within the virtual machine, your service provider will not help. Understood? So here, probably the hardware and networking team cost is gone. Rest of the cost is still there. Yes or no? I probably get this highly scalable service also, because if I'm using infrastructure as a service, it's a service. I can any point in time say that, okay, scale to this, scale to that, scale up or scale out. Both options are there. Scale up is vertical scaling, scale out is horizontal scaling. I get that advantage, but overall maintenance comes to me. What does it mean? I require more work here. In short, I can say more effort and money required. Now tell me, there is a scenario where your application is created as ASP.NET Core MVC based application. Your database is in SQL Server. Your intermediate logic is suppose Web API. Business logic, I'm saying. If I say I want to set up this on infrastructure as a service, what all things I need to do? User load is higher. 1 million users at a time are connecting and using the application. Who will set this all? What configuration is required? It is your team only which will do that. Simply you are saving on the cost for the hardware, actual hardware. And you are paying for the resources that you have used. Pay and use type. Just like Zoom car. If I am into a job profile which requires me to change my base location every 2-3 years, would it be a good idea to purchase a car? What do you think? Do you agree if I say no?
Yes.
In such cases where my job is highly transferable, I'm saying 2 to 3 years, but in reality it could be every 6 months also, right? In such cases, instead of purchasing a car, I can hire a car. I want to drive myself only, so I can hire it. I can hire a very, uh, I would say, luxury car also, because I need not pay the entire cost. I'll be just paying some portion monthly. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
I don't need to go for taking that car to service and all. I just use it and put the fuel in. That's it. Service and everything will be taken care of by the service provider. Yes. When you book, someone will come and drop the car. When you say, okay, I'm done, someone will come back and take the car. Right? It's like that. Infrastructure as a service. Now, what is PaaS?
Platform as a service.
Stands for platform as a service. And what do you mean by that? Here, your final runtime platforms are already installed. If I'm looking to set up my own servers with infrastructure as a service, I need to have a virtual machine which has got database server. I need to have a virtual machine which has got web server. I need to have another virtual machine with web server that will host my business logic which is there in APIs, web APIs. I need to set up all this. With platform as a service, I just say, okay, this is my application hosted. This is my database hosted. I need not create any virtual machine. It's pre-created. I just hook in my resources into them. What do you think? This will be more cost effective or not? Yes or no?
Yes, it will be.
Like to run a .NET application, what you need? Machine to be having some operating system on which some web server is running. If it is ASP.NET Web Forms application or ASP.NET MVC4 or MVC5 application, I require virtual machine to be Windows based with IIS configured. If it is .NET Core, then I can have Linux machine also, Mac OS machine also, or Windows machine also. I don't care simply. As far as my application is being served properly, I don't care what is the underlying environment. Understood?
Yes, sir.
I want to host a SQL Server database, so I should be able to put it somewhere and it should be accessible exactly the way how SQL Server makes it accessible. So Azure comes up with services over here. Many services are there. The one which will be applicable here are app service that allows you to host applications, and then you have SQL Azure which allows you to host SQL Server database on it. Understood? Yes?
Yes, sir.
What is SaaS?
Software as a service.
And what is that?
This time, instead of managing the infrastructure or anything, the application is directly managed by the cloud provider, cloud
So
service
that is
provider.
the final application to be used by the user with some customizations if he wants to do, should be doable, right? Example?
The APIs.
No. G Suite.
Employee management
So
system.
it could be Slack.
Slack can be one of the option. You are using Office 365 also, right?
Yes, sir.
Which
Yes.
is a package of multiple things. Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, everything is integrated here, right? With file sharing also. Chat support as well. G Suite also does the same thing. G means Google. It has got Google Docs. It has got Gmail, right? And these all systems are available for to be used by organizations as well as by the individuals. B2B, B2C both targeted and supported, right? Yes, these are finished products. So cloud service provider may not have it. It will be available as a separate product only. So practically in this category, there is only one provider which says that, okay, my solution is SaaS and I allow the developers to host their applications also. That is Salesforce. An ERP for to be used in terms of sales department mainly, and it does allow custom applications also to be developed and deployed. So Salesforce is the only entry which comes in this. Most of the clouds are just IaaS or just PaaS or maybe both. Understood? Now, when I say finished software is running, finished software must require some platform to run, right? Office 365 must be a .NET application. So and it's served over the internet. So I need to have the application hosting space. Maybe it goes to PaaS for that. And behind scenes, PaaS uses infrastructure. Without hardware, will you be able to process anything? Definitely not. So the dependency is like this. And we can build our application targeting any of these. Clear? Is it clear to all?
Yes, sir.
So that is all about the introduction to cloud. Right? There are many more things, but yeah, you can read and understand. Different scenarios basically are there which you need to go through and understand. Conceptually, this is what it is. Now, what is Microsoft Azure here? It's a cloud computing platform by Microsoft. Understood? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is the end of the conceptual part here. Time for lunch break. We'll resume at 2:30 and there we will actually get a complete knowledge of how to use Azure and then we'll see how to create the different resources on it and deploy on it. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so see you then at 2:30. It's going to be all practical here onwards.
Sure, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Shall we proceed? Shall we proceed?